Hi guys, and welcome to Whisky Geek for another whisky review. Today I'm doing something a little bit special. One of the perks for my patrons, I'm lucky to have a number of very generous patrons. One of the higher tier perks is they get to select a whisky from my collection for me to pull my finger out and review. And this one, I'm excited to drink, was selected by Dwayne Large. So thank you Dwayne for all of your support. Dwayne is a massive fan of Islay. He visits so regular that he's on basically a first name basis with a lot of the distillery staff. Dwayne is a peathead, so this is a very fitting choice. This is a Lagavulin Distillery Centre exclusive, one that I picked up back in March, and this is the Jazz Festival 2017 bottling. So you've probably all heard of Facial, which is the music festival on Islay, which is normally hosted at the distilleries, so it's become Music and Malt Festival. Lots of the distilleries do special bottlings. Well, Lagavulin also sponsor the Jazz Festival. They love music, very community vibe on Islay, so they also have a jazz festival. Lagavulin have been sponsoring it since 2010, and they've done commemorative bottles ever since 2011. So this one is a 2017. Now, it's bottled at natural cask strength. It's uncoloured, I believe. I can't find anything to say that it is or isn't, but it certainly doesn't have any evidence, any of the telltale signs for me that it's been coloured, and it wouldn't make sense for this style of bottling. You know, this is an expensive premium bottle for Lagavulin fans. Why would they bother colouring it? They don't need to get that kind of consistency. So I don't think it's coloured, and it's a no age statement. I can't find anywhere that really says how old it is or what kind of stock that's gone into it. They do tell us, however, that the casks used are refill American oak hogsheads and refill European oak butts. Now these casks have all been personally selected by Iain McArthur. Iain is the legend on Islay who does the Lagavulin warehouse demos. Fantastic experience. Now for the size of those casks, there's probably about 12, 11 casks, somewhere around a dozen that have gone into this batch. There was 6,000 bottles, and this is number 42. How I managed to pick that up 2 years after, I'm not sure. Now, as I'm giving this a couple of minutes to breathe, I wanted to give you a quick heads up on something. We recently hit 1,000 subs for the channel and the 1 year anniversary. So I'm going to do a live, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, and there's going to be a number of giveaways. The giveaways, there's one Patron exclusive, which is a set of fancy samples that they've picked out. There is also going to be a pair of glasses, and all of these sample bottles, there's going to be something exciting coming up with them. So I'll be chucking some details up on my Twitter page shortly, and possibly on Facebook as well. But keep an eye out for my live, and you may be in with a chance of winning something exciting. So first things first, let's take a look at the colour of this. It's a really quite nice pale gold, shade 2 or manzanilla. It certainly looks authentic, it looks uncoloured. Let's see what we get on the nose. So initially it's very soft and sweet. You know, there's these sweet fruits. The peat's there, but it's really quite restrained. You're getting orchard fruits, some sweet cereals, barley, hints of honey. And there's kind of a white wine vinegar, a soft white wine vinegar astringency, but nowhere near as much as you'd expect from a 57.6% ABV. Then this gentle and mellow peat is starting to come out. It's vegetal, it's grassy and floral, and it's melding really well with the sweeter fruity tones. There's some pears and that kind of fruit coming through. Hints of this briny driftwood, you know, a bit of maritime saltiness to it. And a pepper, but it's an integrated pepper. It's bringing a warmth without really being that prickly, that sharp. Some nice earthy smoke, quite a gentle smoke. It's really very integrated and quite delicate for a Lagavulin. You know, it's got a lot of subtleties in the background, but there's all of that peat oomph without any of the aggression. It doesn't really have a harshness or a bite to it. It's all very welcoming, and at 57.6%, that's not what you'd expect. So let's see what that first sip brings. Wow, what's really noticeable is the thickness, the textural element. It's really buttery and oily, lovely and thick. Those cereals are coming through nicely. And then there's this peppery warmth, kind of what was showing on the nose comes through in a wave on the palate. Quite a little bit of a prickle, but really, really warming and fills the mouth. This is a perfect winter warmer. Then revisiting the nose, you kind of expose this almost ambrosia custard or melted marshmallow type sweetness. It's really quite salty on the palate. The most briny whiskey that I can think of. Lovely bacon crisps coming through. Some damp old woods and like smouldering charcoal, you know, the ash and the smoke of a dying old fire. And the sweetness is still there, but it's much more hidden. It's in the background, and the peat is coming forwards and giving you much more of those kind of Lagavulin traits, Islay traits on the palate. The finish is just really a beautiful continuation. You know, you don't get that usual spike of astringency or heat or prickle that you frequently get when you swallow and all of the residue evaporates. It doesn't really happen with this. Again, unusual for something of this strength. Instead, the flavours they gradually tailor off, and they're leaving behind this quite woody, peppery prickle, a lot of earthy, vegetal notes, and again that briny saltiness just lingers on, and it's plenty long on the finish. Now, this being the strength that it is, I've tried, just with the addition of a few drops of water, tailor it off and see how it evolves. Now, at about 52%, I found that there was much more heat, more astringency, more pepper, but some vanilla and vegetal tones started coming out on the nose in particular. On the palate, it was much more salty, and those peppercorns and barley started to come out. I then took it down even further to about 48% and found that the heat returned to the full strength levels. The barley and meatiness came out, but it was overall less rich on the nose. And then for the palate, it was much flatter, much less rich, and vegetal peat, brine, and it just kind of lost some of that interest for me, the subtleties in the background. So for me, I do have a bias towards full strength, but I definitely found this to be best at its natural cask strength. So I've rated this one a very solid 88 out of 100. This is not a game-changing whiskey, it's not a revelation, but it is absolutely fantastic. I don't regret buying it for 1 second, and I'm going to thoroughly enjoy the bottle. But compare this at £100 to the Distiller's Edition Pedro Jimenez finished and the 16-year-old, which are essentially half the price. They are excellent whiskies at an excellent price point, and this isn't offering that much more beyond that. Now, the cask strength is definitely evident. There is a lot of peat delivery, a little bit of warmth, but nowhere near as much as you'd expect. I wouldn't have guessed this was as strong as it is. And I don't think age-wise, I don't think it's that old, maybe 12-year-old, somewhere around there. But that youth is probably what's allowing that lovely peat body to show. And it's got enough age behind it to give a lot of intricacies and interest. It's a really honest and authentic Lagavulin, and it's executed brilliantly. Really enjoy it. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please chuck a like and a comment below and consider subscribing for more. Cheers.